Wild Card Poker. Soon, we'll be streaming the Jackstar Super High Roller APL. Hang about. raise here from Matt McKenna, the ace-9, spades. And Andy Mitchell, 3 bets to 8.5k with 5-2 spades. What is he thinking? Matt makes the call. So we'll go to a flop here. The Penguin hits the table, burns 1, turns 3. Oofed. Ace. In the center, checked there from Matthew McKenna. Andy Mitchell. Set to fire into this pot with 5-2. He has picked himself up a straight draw. Matthew makes the call. Couldn't be too happy about that, seeing, second ace on the turn. He's got to be happy about that, but still, Andy did 3-bet pre-flop. So he could be thinking ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack potential as Andy fires another barrel. And it's a rainbow board. No flush to worry. Matthew makes the call. We'll go to the river. And it is the Queen of Diamonds giving Matthew McKenna the boat, and he checks it. Giving him some rope here. Will Andy fire another barrel? Will Andy... Oh, will he? What? Fires and gets re-raised and folds. Wow. 5-2. Hunting it away there, Big Andy, but didn't all in the river, so saved himself some change to continue on. The stream has started, so I can officially remove the start the stream later message and shrink my box to an appropriate size as to not block the action. The Penguin deals out another hand, like wood, but he doesn't. Jack 2 hits the bin, and Big Nick with ace 10 of diamonds says, let's go, VS go, and raises it up to 2.7 kilometers. Andy Mitchell licking the wounds from that 5-2 debacle. Diabolical play from the big fella. And then we get a 3-bet. It's King Queen. 3-bet to 7k. Nick thinks. Dips into the tank before making the call. Nick versus Jim here. Jim versus Nick. Flop comes 9-5-9. No 5 no in Germany. And no help for anyone. Jim continues. 5,000. Bet 5 called 5. 8 on the turn. Again, missing both players. Nick reaching for chips here. $16.5. Making it difficult to get a call here at a king queen. No love. Folded away. And APL, Jackstar, High Roller, APL Albury, Super High Roller, 150 guaranteed. This is day one. The Penguin. He's really earning his keep here today. And who do we see? Karen Lee with 140 bigs on this table. Jim Andreas, 147 bigs. And Matthew McKenna, third position with 120 bigs. They're playing deep here on this feature table. The Commercial Club Albury. APL, the Australian Poker League, PT, Poker Tour. And what's going on there? We have Andy Mitchell raising it to 3K with Ace Jack and getting a call there from Keithy. And Andy flops trips, flops the jacks, and then fluffs about with his chips before making a small bet of some description, 2K. It's re-raised here by Keithy Thomas, the Bush Ranger, and he's re-raised with disastrously. And Andy's re-raised to 17K. That was unnecessary, Andy. I don't think you should have done that. Maybe he saw the hearts and thought, he's got the heart. He's got the blocker to the nuts. I don't understand why you'd re-raise there. I think you call, flat call, and you let him hang himself on the turn. But Andy decides to go for the immediate re-raise, and the only thing that was going to be calling that bet was potentially, I guess he may have thought aces and kings might call, or even the thing that would beat you would be the pocket fours. It would be the only thing that's going to call or re-raise that bet. Anyway, I'd like to see him just flat call there and get to the turn, maybe check it, slow down, allow our bluffer to continue their line before smothering them all in with a re-raise. But that's just me, and I'm not Andy, and Andy's not me, and that's why I'm here and he's there, and such is life and all that. Nick Vesco, bucket deuces, quack quack, and Andy puts his Queen 8 in the bin. Karen Lee with 3K raise. The pocket ducks have called. Jim Andreas will probably do something outrageous here. He has 3-bet to 10.5K. And it goes around to Blake Wood, but he won't. And then we're back to Karen Lee, who felds the ace jack outrageously. And it's now on Nick Veskio to Patanjali call with his quack quack and see what Jimmy's got in store for him on the flop. Wildcard poker here, folks. Restreaming the APLPT Jackstar Super High Roller. $1,500 to entry, $150,000 guaranteed. I'm pretty sure they crushed that already. There's been 116 entrants, I'm pretty sure. It says 90 now, but I know more than you. I don't know. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe it's 90. It is 90. 190, just 90 so far entrants into this event. Nobody knows what happened to, I guess we do know what happened. The ducks got folded. Quack, quack. Put them in the bin, as they say. Took them to the tip. Flushed them down the dunny. And the penguin, headset on, looking like a modern day Britney Spears or a Lady Gaga. Ready to bust out some Hit Me Baby One More Time as he deals these cards. 9-8 clubs, very attractive, raises to 2.7. They are suited, they are connected, which means they are right next to each other. For some reason, makes them more attractive, despite being middle of the pack. And Andy Mitchell with blank blank raises to 11k. No one knows what he's got. Doesn't want anyone else to know what he's got. Gets the sevens to fold. Queen 5. Matthew McKenna says no thank you. Jerry Rye. And then blank would but doesn't. And Karen Lee also felds and moves out of the way before Nick Viasco folds to Andy Mitchell's erratic behavior. No one knows what he had. No one ever will. And old Matty McKenna gets the itchy boobs, has a scratch, cracks the knuckles, says, I don't know what my shirt says either. And I think it says Kobe 1 Kenobi or something, but no one knows. And next to him is Jaiwan Rai. He is pondering something intensely, finger on the cheek. Seat 1, Blake would but doesn't. Haven't seen him play a hand yet. Nice white shirt, nice white head. Do love it. Karen Lee, assuming it's a female in that seat there with 134 bigs. Suffering from extreme hypothermia, judging by that jacket, the way it's covering her head. There's some hair too. Got the Just Do It hat on, sponsored by Nike. Next to her sits Nick Viesco, good friends with, I don't know, nothing. I got nothing. I was gonna good friends with Timmy Chambers. Famously, they both discovered gravity before Lance Patterson Armstrong. In seat 4, looks up with no cards, looks over at Andy Mitchell, punting again. All in, he says, with pocket 8s. This time he has a pair. And Nick Viesco is once again put the decision against the lunatic, who is punting away erratically, strategically, and he might be sick of his antics already, sick of being kicked around like a Coke can, sick of being bullied. Little does he know, only one of his cards is really live, even though they are both suited, which makes them more attractive. Definitely not a nice hand to be sitting in on when you have someone aggressively punting at you and you only have the ace and the 7. Very hard to call here, and he folds away. Oh, look, 105 entries now. That happened quickly. A little bit of VPIP there. I did miss it. I wasn't paying all the attention to the VPIP as the penguin riffles, ruffles, shuffles, and he cuts them, chops them, slices and dices. Oh, there he goes. Oh, look at that. Stacking the cards nicely. He gets them back in order. They're definitely alphabetically ordered now. And he deals. Look at that style. Look at that skill, that flair. He was there. Matty, get off your phone, mate. You're on the feature table, brother. Have some respect for this high roller. 118 bigs for Matty McKenna. And we see the penguin pick up a pair. And he goes to raise, but realizes that he's in fact the dealer. He cannot do that. We see, who do we see? Jimmy Andretti is raised it to 2.7k. What's with this 2.7k business? Why are we raising to 2.7k all of the time? It's annoying. It's not a really round number. Raise it to 3. Raise it to 2.5. 2.7. It's 2.74. Come on, guys. Get with the program. Potentially, it's GTO approved. The blinds, the way they are, the big blind ante, and the small blind, somehow you find yourself at 2.7k. We've got 3 players here, all runners. 3 running players as we've flopped a open-ended straight draw on a rainbow board for Nick Viesco. He's got to love it. It gives him approximately 8 outs coming twice, except does he know little about Keithy Thomas, who also has a gut shot to his 5, and Jimmy, who's got tangled up with top pair. So it's gone. Bet from the top pair. Call. The gut shot's called, and the open ender's called. This could get messy here, I'll tell you. Oofed. And now Keithy Thomas, the most unlikely of characters, has found himself with top pair as Nick Viesco. Oh, slow plays. He's straight and he's just smashed. So that's what I love about having 8 outs twice, is that, mate, Jimmy, you're in trouble, bud. I would slow down, and he does. And Keithy, who has now walked into top pair, is going to find that my friend Nick over here has got the better hand than him. Oofed. And Jimmy gets out of the way. That's a great read there. You got to think someone has the 5. He hasn't. And then the 3 comes, giving him Nick Viesco an absolute 6 card straight here. Look, even Andy reached for chips as if to say, I could punt this and steal this pot with no cards. That's how keen Andy is. And what the hell happened? Value bet from my friend Nick, and called. And obviously Nick took down the pot with his beautiful straight. I would never bet for value there. I'd always go all in. Sometimes you don't get it, but when you get paid, you really get paid. I just jam it all in. Sometimes you could also lose a lot too, because what if they've got a better straight than you? Oh well, too bad, so sad. And we're on to the next, the Penguin. The shuffle, deal, split, cut, shuffle, split, get there, there. And then he gives the cards out to each player in the appropriate order. And that's what's important when you're the dealer. Order. And appropriateness of order. So what do we see here? Get rid of this crap. That's right. What do we see here? We see Blake Wood. And he will this time. And he does. I do love the head, Blakey. As a fellow Baldesian myself over here. King Queen raised to 3.6. About time that you put in a raise like a man does. 3.6. None of this 2.7 bullshit. And we got Andy Mitchell. He's back with 3-2. Get out of town, Andy. And he does. He leaves town. And so we should with 3-2. We saw what happened last time we played with 5-2. Absolute disaster. Running into Matthew McKenna, who just ate him up and spat him out. Chewed him up. Spat him out. Big fella. This feature table does look like it is the CSI forensics disaster, doesn't it? It looks like someone's got out the green cum light, and the dealer's been up to no good because he's got a whole lot of stains on the table there. And it's not a good look for the dealer. He's definitely found himself guilty as charged once the green light's been turned on by the forensics at CSI. There's also a lot of other random cum splatter that is just about the table in general. It's a little bit, who knows what's going on. Is it just like the dealer is just surrounded by jizz and then there's a lot of cocaine out there on the table? Is that what's happening? Is it just coke rocks are just splayed across the whole board, and the dealer's just there snorting coke and doing naughty things in that spot. As you can see, the evidence is quite clear. Okay, we've got Andy Mitchell with the King Jack, 2 plays with Queens, one of them with the Queen 10, who hits middle pair, and Andy decides to check his top pair with a fairly good kicker, and we get a check, and then Nick Viesco is going to think, hang on, they've got a check. I've got middle pair. I've got to bet this in position. And Andy's going to say, nah, mate, I'm going to raise ya. And Andy does. No, he flat calls. Wow, Andy's really switched up his gears here. He says, what's next? 6 of diamonds. He checks again, allowing the Nick to slow down here. On the turn, the river is a 7, pairing the board. And now Andy bets for value. A little bit of value here for Andy. Potentially, the 7's going to scare him off, but if Nick believes that he missed the flop, then why would the 7 improve his hand at all? But if he's flopped bottom pair and then he's rivered the 7, maybe he does have it. Either way, regardless, he had the best hand, and Nick Viesco sniffed it out like a what are the names of the drug dogs at the airport? Like a bloody bloodhound. Sniffed it. He said, "No, I sniff your play somehow. This time you didn't multi-barrel into us, and I respect that more." He says, probably, as opposed to the Bluffmeister that just barrels every street, which might be Andy's live tell. When he bets, you just don't believe him. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, nor there nor here, nor there. And we'll add this to the stage. Oh, look at that. Wildcard Poker. That's us. Just restreaming Australian live poker, the greatest poker in the world. And Blake Wood and does raises Karen Lee. Karen Lee says, no, thank you, me. Nick Vesco picks up a slightly better hand than Blake Wood did. Blake did Wood. And then Lance Patterson Armstrong says, King 10, no thank you. No thanking you. No thanking 10. And then it's all folded. And then 3-2, 7-4, blah, blah, blah. Then we get back around. We get a call from the 4.8 raise. Now, Blake Wood did hit top pair on this nasty looking board. 3 spades. Very dangerous for Nicky Vesco. Probably feeling like, why? Why me? Why now? Why? Bloody, I've got hearts. I don't want to see 3 spades on a flop. 6 comes to turn, diamond. Then Blake Wood did bet. Blake Wood bet did. And Vesco's got to get away from that. Thank you. He gives it back to the Penguin, who looks down at a disgustingly soiled table. The green light has revealed a whole bunch of CSI evidence that would have him locked up for many, many years. And he says, ho, ho, ho. Hey, 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 hey. I don't know how he became French, but he's like, ho, ho, ho. He says, je suis de bonne humeur. Je suis en couleur. Le green. I don't know how to say green in French. Le green. And that's what he did. Cut, shuffled, whiffled, raffled, waffled. And then he picks up the big blind ante, which is currently a few thousand. And he put it to the side, flicks out some cards, flicks it over the dealer button there with that deal magically. And what do we see? He riffles the chips, likes to touch. Karen Lee looks down, pocket nines, big stack, raises to 3.2. I do believe it is a 3.2 raise. Lance gets out of the way. Andy Mitchell peels ace 4 spades, makes the call, likes to, no, Andy. He re-raises. He 3-bets to 11K. He likes to play. Does Andy Mitchell, the man with 2 first names. And Karan Lee, with the concealed pair, goes to a flop. And Andy hits middle pair. Disastrously for Andy Mitchell, but beautiful Lee for Karen Lee. Currently with 125 big blind stack and $15K is the bet. Andy ponders, he wanders, he thinks, considers, loves to jam, loves a Sam Jamwich, thinks, ponders, considers, his antsy, he folds. Good laydown. Doesn't like to fold, Andy. Likes to get it in, likes to bet, likes to show the aggression. Believed Karen. Believed her. Believed she was cold. Looks like a freaking Eskimo in a North Face jacket. Up here, covered from head to toe. Meanwhile, Matty McKenna in his stubbies and a singlet. Can't even get a sweat. And Alexander Volkanovski in seat 1. Watch out for the head kick, bud. Blake Wood does, folds. Karen Lee, 9-8, unsuited, not as attractive. Nick Fiasco, doesn't like it. Lance Patterson, all suited, connected, attractive. Arm to the left shoulder, potential stroke, not stroking, just checking. Andy Mitchell, A6, ace for Andy, attractive, bets, puts in a raise, makes it more to go. Jim, 3 bets it, says not enough, Andy Mitchell, 7.5 to go. Matthew McConaughey, he, feeling it, Queen 10, doesn't like it, puts it away. Somehow, the way he flicked those cards was magical. Jawan Rai probably has a more Australian accent than me, but I still call him Jawan Rai. Thinks, folds. The Penguin picks up his chips, puts them in his little pile. Andy Mitchell calls. We go to a flop. We flop. 9-7-3. Missing everyone. Jim maintains the lead. And he checks as if to say, check raise coming. Jim bets. 6,000 to call. Andy, patience, lays it down. Here we are, folks. Pre-flop raise, APL Jackstar. Andy Mitchell likes 50%. 50% pre-flop raise. He loves a raise. He's the leader. And we are, in fact, this is day one of the $1,500 Jackstar live from the APLPT Commercial Club in Albury. The APL does tour the country with amazing events. The APL Million later in the year at Southport Sharks. I'll be there with bells on and some whistles. As the Penguin allocates the cards to each player. In chronology, seat 2 folds Karen Lee. Nikki, to make a play, reaches for chips and inserts them into the middle. They are suited, so they are somewhat more attractive but not connected, which makes them more difficult to play. Post flop, it's a bit of an itchy bet there from Nikki. Viesco, Jawan Rai. He is sitting down King 9. That's the best of it. McConaughey folds. Macho. Jawan wants to get involved here. He moves to jam. To Sam Jamwich. And Blake Wood, but doesn't. Gets out of the way of the interaction. And Nick is chipped in to call. He does. He's going to see the bad news. He's dominated. But it's a flip. He's behind and it's a flip. Queen 8 is exposed to the table now that he is, in fact, opening quite wide. Isolating. Oh, there it is. King and an 8. Both players remain the same. The river can help. Jack. No, it's a 4 of spades and King 9 doubles through. Jawan Rai. I don't know what I'm saying. Jawan doubles up there. Nice play. Probably a little bit wide there from our good friend Nick. A little bit aggressive, a little bit antsy, a little bit itchy, as I say. Nick Viasco. And this restream is brought to you via me, Tucker, coming live, restreamed from Byron Bay. And I can do this anywhere in the world from Byron Bay and crush commentary for live poker, and I plan to do so. So, if you ever need a vocal booth, but you don't want to have to take someone on site, here I am, ready to stream from anywhere in the world. And then we see Nikki Viesco raising to 2.8 with Queen 9 suited, more attractive, but also it's one better than the last Queen that he raised. I'm still not convinced it's the play to make. J1 Ray looks down at Ace 10 of Hearts, which is attractive and the best hand currently in circulation. And Matthew McConaughey, he looks down and says, who drew all over my arms? And what is it? And J1 Ray looks up at the board and says, jam. Good play, solid play against two players that have you well and truly out-chipped. Nikki Viesco thinks, again? No, thank you. And Matthew McKenna probably wise to let go of Jack 10 here. He only has one live card in the hand if he does make the call. It's well worth folding, and he gets away from that one, and J1 Rai is just putting those chips back into his stack. VPIP 55% from Nikki Viesco. What I was saying earlier, he's loving getting into every pot, every second pot at 55%. It's quite high. And I'm sure tomorrow there will be another day 2 stream of the Jackstar from the APL, the Australian Poker League, and they do run a tight ship and a good ship. I've played at Southport at the Sharks for the APL series that ran in January, and it was pretty awesome. I ended up coming third in my first ever live PLO event, and 56 in the monster stack out of 380, and it didn't pay till 45, which wasn't that great for me because I didn't make the money, but good experience. Good times were had by most, except for the guy that I put on tilt, because we were in a hand 3 ways, and I was on the button. I was in position. He was on the big blind, and there was a small blind, and she had more chips than me, and so did he actually. And got down to the river. She checks. He bets thin for value for some unknown reason. There's no reason for him. If you've got showdown value at this point, don't bet, please, because I'm in position. So he bets 30,000, and I might have 70,000 or something, maybe a bit more. Maybe I had 90,000. Anyway, I call his 30,000, and because he's reopened the bet, old small blind here jams on us, and he folds because he actually had a flush. He had the best hand, but he jams on us. She jams on us from the small blind, and he folds because he figures I must be strong because I'm calling, and I fold because I'm thinking she must be strong because she's jamming. And so it was a complete debacle, and he was like, how do you call me and then fold? And I'm like, how do you open the bedding on the river that thin? Why would you do that? When I'm going to check it, we're going to see showdown. It's your mistake. Don't blame me for folding. It's your mistake for taking the position out of my hands and giving it back to her, making her last to act. And obviously, if I'm strong, he bets, I have to bet all in to prove that I'm strong. Because I didn't bet all in, then I'm weak, but I want to see. And then she's like, well, if you're weak, then I'm going to jam here and take you both out. And then what happens? I have to lay it down. And I think she was a bit flustered because she realized that we both had her beat. And yeah, she was basically had like 2 pair or something. I had a straight and the other guy had a flush, and he had a low end of the flush, but he had the flush nevertheless. Anyway, he was quite flustered from that. Anyway, he proceeded to tell me that he could tell what I had because he could see my heart beating in my neck or something. And I was like, okay, good. Very good. You focus on what my neck's doing, and I'll focus on just continuing to play good. And he just bluffed it off in the next hand. Just absolutely went punt, and gave it away with like pocket sixes. In PLO, pocket sixes aren't great. And they weren't great once again. And then he left. So if you're out there, buddy, and you see this, just know that I regret nothing. And getting you on tilt was probably the best strategy that I employed in that whole tournament. Yes, I was surprised actually by how fast PLO is, how quick it is, the action. You think it'd be slower because there's more cards, there's more to work out. People are quick, man, and you just have to be on the ball. And I was on the ball a few times, and I'd call down with like 2 pair, and then I'd be like, oh, I've got 2 pair, and then I'd flip my cards over, and they'd be like, oh, there's actually a flush there. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I knew that, yeah, right, yeah. But you know, I just couldn't remember everything that I had in one sneaky little peek, little peek, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm focused on the 2 pair. I'm thinking about that, focused, and then next thing you know, I've accidentally hit myself a flush or whatever. Yes, but Nicky Vesco now, who the VPIP Meister we call him Mr. VPIP, Nicky VPIP instead of Vesco. Nicky VPIP, he's bet 10k at Andy Mitchell, who is called, and looks like we have turned the 5 here, and Nicky Vesco with the ace queen has gone all in and been called. And the Andy's drawing dead, to be fair, unless a king comes. No help. No, a king wouldn't even have helped. An ace needed to come. I do apologize. Anyway, Sandy Andy. Is he still in? Has he still got some chippies? He does. I don't know how. 41. Nicky Viesco, 78. I don't know what happened now. I don't know what happened. Okay. So, we're back. That's enough of the APL reminiscing. And then how did I get out of the main event? I had ace jack and I flopped an ace and I raised, and the fella flopped a set and called his all in, and I went home. And that's what happens. But I do feel like after playing the PLO tournament, which was the first event that I played in that series, that I was so tired after making the final table and playing down to 4 a.m. or something, that I never recovered. So I do have a lot of respect for these players that play these multi-day tournaments and just go, especially like things like the World Series, where they're just like day after day after day playing until the wee hours of the morning. And as you can see, there's a chiropractic session taking place in the background here with Nurse Sally getting a good rub on the banana, and not like a banana, but you know, the guy in the banana t-shirt. Anyway, Corporal Lance, he's called. He's not going to call, he folds. And Andy Mitchell gets out of the way. Anyway, they all fold, and then the Penguin picks up the stack of cards and proceeds to wash and riffle and whiffle and waffle. And he splits them, and he cuts them, and then he shuffles. And there we go. A little bit of a whiffle, bit of a riffle. Anyway, yeah, so I never felt like I recovered after that late night. Maybe I'm just soft, but definitely there's a peak performance that you need to be at to play these kind of things at your very best, and sleep, diet is a very important component of things that affect the mind state and affect the ability to regulate the nervous system. And that's what the body is. It's a system full of nerves. And when we are dysregulated, that affects the thinking patterns and the feeling patterns, because ultimately intuition is a fine sense of feeling. And if we're too tired, then these facilities, these faculties can become clouded. And I felt that in the remainder of the tournament. The series is Keithy Thomas here with Jack 9, 1.4 to call, and Matthew McKenna. I'm a little confused because I did see Mr. Ray with a hand, J1, but there he is, 10-9. He's raised to 3.5 with 10-9, and 9 has come about. Both players hitting middle pair here. It would be most polite if they would just let each other know that's what's happened and split the pot equally, despite having different kickers. I'm sure they won't. And Keithy puts in a raise to 5k. And Jaiwan Ray doesn't like it, but makes the call. Seven now on the turn. And Jaiwan Ray is in some kind of trouble. Needs a 10 on the river to get out of trouble here. No help here. Keithy Thomas. Take this one down with a check. No need to proceed with the bet. And Jaiwan Ray, absolutely filthy, didn't continue his line there. Represent the ace. As the Penguin splashes the chips towards Keithy, the Bush Ranger. And he no look shuffle here from the Penguin with his Brittany headgear. Admirable stuff here from him. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And the attention of Blake Wood is undivided as he studies the hands of the dealer, watching every every moment of movement, looking for any signs of fuckery from him. Either way, McConaughey gets out of the way. Ray Wan Lai says no thank you. Back to the VPIP King, who does get out of the way. Karen Lee's cold still. 122 big blinds. Blah, blah, blah. Armstrong here. Lance Patterson. King 10. Scratches his face. Looks at Andy Mitchell. Says, fuck, why'd you sit me next to this cowboy? Throws them away. Andy Mitchell. Pocket twos. Quack, quack. Makes the raise. Says, Come and get some, boys. Jimmy re-raises, kicks it up again. Says, no, Andy, I don't believe your bullshit. Pocket twos ain't scaring me. And then he puts them into the toilet and hits the flush button. APL, Jackstar. This is at Albury, folks. If you're in the area, walk down there, see what's going on, take a wad of cash, buy some entries and play. Crush live. Blake Wood's left. Karen Lee's frozen to death. Nikki V Pip. Still got the chips. Lance Armstrong Patterson. Oh, bit of an overthrow there from the Penguin. And then, oh, Woody's back just in time to not get folded. Bottle of water. Water head. Volkanovski looks down. Ace Jack. Suited. More attractive. Diamond. Karen Lee also with the Ace Jack. Less attractive, but equally cold. Nikki V says not for me. Lancy, fancy, throws him away. Andy, no dandy, says fuck this cards. Who's this dealer? Jimmy, no, King 6, 8-3 for McConaughey, says get out of the way, that's gay. Blakewood does. Call. We go to a beautiful flop here from the Penguin. 1 burn, 3 up. Bang, 4-5-5. No help for either. It's going to come down to who has the intestinal fortitude here. Testicular aptitude as Karen Lee makes the call. 7 comes on the turn. Doesn't help. Both players equally stinky. Ace Jack. Hard to continue. Karen keeping the pressure on. Blakewood thinks, does he want to jam it back in her face? He might. It's approximately 7 bigs. Bet towards him. He folds. Can't blame him for laying that one down. He'll hate to see it later on the replay when he watches back. Might think about tanning that head a little too for the screen. Bloody hell, he says in production. Who's in control of the contrast? Anything whiter than my shirt is my fucking noggin. It's not fair. Good head though, nice and round. Keeps the brain in. And Karen Wood showing off her stack of chips. Perhaps saving up for something warmer, maybe a Snuggie. And the Penguin resets the cards. Mickey V Pip lowering his average, throwing them away. Lance, Andy, Jimmy, Ace 9 likes it, suited, raised. 3K. Go on right, 9-5. McConaughey calling 10-8 suited. Gapper. 10-8 gapper. The 9's the gap. The straight flush is out of the picture with J1 Ray holding the 9 and calling the 9-5. Gapper, gapper, gapper. Or 3 gapper, as I'd say. 5, 6, ace. Jimmy picking up the best of this one. And J1 middle pairing it. Option now on Jim. Has to continue here with the top pair. No choice. Does. That's 5, neat. And McConaughey won't like what he sees. Peeks it. Flicks it in the bin. J1 also can't continue with that. Jimmy Andres, chip leader here at this feature table. The Commercial Club Albury APLPT. That's Australian Poker League Poker Tour. They do it Australia-wide. Yeah. And this stream is restreamed by Wildcard Poker. That's me. Wildcard. Tucker in the booth. Streaming from Byron Bay. Live. Australia. Live. Any time of day could happen. And Karen Lee, not for me. Nikki V, Pip, in the bin. Corporal Lance, Patterson, no. Andy, folding. Jimmy, big stack. Bully, King 7. Putting the pressure on. The weaklings, McConaughey, can't call with ace-6. J1 Ray, Jack, and pondering. Is it playable? Generally not. Jack. Fourth best pair in poker. One pair is always one pair. The second worst hand in poker is one pair. He's all in for 20k, and Jimmy has 190 of them. It's only a small portion of his stack to call here and continue. Less than 20 actually, 17.2, as he already has 3 in the middle. He puts in the call with King 7 and has one overcard here. Flicks him some change, does the Penguin. Says, "Giddy those chips over here. You can't keep them in front of you, J1 Ray. Sayonara," he says to J1 Ray. Sayonara. And 10-10-10. Oh my goodness, he's flopped him a full house. Unbelievable. If a 10 comes, that's night-night for J1 Ray, but no. Ooh, safe. The jacks hold up there. 10's full of jacks. And J1 Ray once again doubles. Well played. Good jam with a jack. Now I want to tell a story about my poker career. I was playing the local at Byron Bay the other night at the RSL, and $30 entry, no rebuys, no add-ons. I wanted to rebuy, I wanted to add on, they wouldn't let me. I had pocket 7s, and I was, I'd say I was fairly short stacked. I wasn't super deep. Had a bit more than a starting stack. The blinds were 3 and 6,000. I think the starting stack's about 50 maybe. So yeah, I think I had about maybe 11 or 12 bigs, and I picked up pocket sevens and decided to check the big blind with 3 other callers. Obviously, then the flop comes ace, 8-4, 2 spades, and he bets. I call. Turn comes. I didn't hit my 7. Spades didn't come. He bets. I call. And the river comes. No spades. So I'm thinking, he puts me all in. And I'm like, I'm beat, but if I can talk myself into winning this hand, I could be a genius, right? And so I look down and I'm like, all right, so if he's got an ace, I'm cooked. All right. If he's got an 8, I'm cooked. There's a 4 out there. He could have a 4. Probably not. Then I think the river card was like 5. So there was at least 2 cards that he could have hit that, whatever. But my theory was, if he's got Jack 10 of spades, then he's turning his spades into a bluff. Then I'm good, and this pot's huge. So for all my chips for 50k, I'm gonna call into a 200 and something K pot. Surely, I don't know if it's that big. Might have been 150k, but I'm getting 3-1 or something. I don't know. It was good odds. I looked down and I saw chips everywhere. There was chips everywhere, and I had a little amount left. And I'm like, if he's bluffing me with his flush draw. Anyway, I talked myself into calling, and clearly he had a ace. So don't do it. I never play like that. I never talked myself into calling. I never try to convince myself to have something. And at that time I was like, look at all these chips. What could he be bluffing with? And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Jack 10 would be a good bluff. But no. And I went home. Anyway, Jimmy, the chip leader, has ace king. And Andy Mitchell has queen jack. And he looks at his stack and he's going to check because he's got nothing. Absolutely nothing. And he does check. And Jimmy will also check and say, suck it, Andy. And he will. And he does. Anyway, I could imagine that when Andy gets good cards and hits boards, that he is a fucking nightmare. Because when he gets hot, I'm sure he's just impossible to play against. And I wonder if he's got many bullets to fire in this tournament. So he's just a bit more aggressive and ready to play, ready to see a bit more action. And I wonder if an all-in there would have pushed Jimmy Andreas out of the hand with only ace high, but perhaps not too. Respect to these dealers, I'd fall asleep doing this gig for sure. I can sit here and talk shit, but they've got to count. They've got to put the cards out. They've got to know which way they've got to go. All the things, they've got to keep doing it. Feels like they do it for hours and hours. I don't know what the shifts are like, but he's been there for a while, the Penguin, and he's still paying attention somewhat. And Matty McKenna, he's gone with the 3-bet raise to 9.5k with 3 deuce suited and connected, so it's a little bit more attractive. But why? Just why? I don't know why. Oh, and he takes it down. Absolutely magnificent. Did he show? Is that what happened? He showed? Is that why they're laughing? Oh, no. Anyway, here at the APLPT, Commercial Club Albury, Jackstar High Roller, Super High Roller, Super High Roller that, at the APLPT. And seat 1, Blakewood, 34 bigs. Seat 2, Karen Lee, 131 bigs. Nikki V, 76 bigs. Lance P, 38 bigs. Andy Mitchell, 20 bigs. Splashy. Jeremy Andrades, 140 big blinds. Leading the pack, Keithy Thomas, the Bush Ranger, 33 bigs. And Matthew McConaughey, 100 even. And J1 Rai, 31 big blinds. In seat 9, 78 remain from 109 on this day one. There'll be more enrollees, more registrants tomorrow. Late reg is open until 12:40 p.m. tomorrow in Albury. Tomorrow being Saturday, the 28th of February, 2026, if you are interested. And something's happening here because my alerts are going off. And I'm like, hang on a second. Why am I being alerted for? It's a trade alert. I don't know why. I just know that it's happening. Because the S&P is dumping, I take it. Okay, very good. Anyway, enough of that. We have a hand here. Ace Queen, first pocket nines. Somebody's all in. I just don't know who. Wow, this is crazy. Here we go. Did we lose someone? Oh no, the Bush Ranger. He's gone. Pocket nines. Trounced there by Ace Queen. And Nikki V Pip Fiasco munches him and sends him walking back to the Rego desk. It's no good for the Bush Ranger. GG's. J1 Ray comes back from the toilet. Hope you washed your hands. He has a chat with Matty McKenna, running him back through the action. Pocket nines. Ace Queen. Raise. 3 bet, 4 bet, 5 bet, 6 bet, 7 bet, 8 bet, 9 bet, 10 bet, 12 bet. And nobody's got cards here. Oh, hang on, I'm incorrected. Ace 4, looking like trash. J1 Rai. Doesn't play. Blake would, but doesn't. Folds pocket 2s. Karen Lee. Ace 7. And Nick. Oh, suited Jack 8. Loves a suited gapper, doesn't he? Old Nicky Viasco. What does he need to connect with that? 10, 9, Queen. 10, 9, Queen. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Andy Mitchell coming along for a little looky also. 10, 9, Queen. 6, 8. Close, he says. Gets himself top pair, does Nikki V-Pip. And Karen Lee with a backdoor open-ender. Don't think I've ever said that before. need a runner. Is a backdoor open-ended straight draw? Is that what it is? I don't know. Andy Mitchell is a gut shot to the 7. And he might fancy himself. Yeah. Heads up, Jack. Now giving me Andy. Now giving the Andy an open-ender and Nikki 2 pair. Got to put the pressure on here. I'd like to see a big bet from 2 pair on the turn with clubs out there. He does and takes it down. Good bet. Well played. 15K. Very nice. This might bring us to a conclusion here, folks. Maybe we'll see one more hand from the Penguin before we wrap up this day 1 of the $1,500 Jackstar super high roller from the APLPT. I'm Tucker, streaming live from Byron Bay, Australia. This event is happening in Albury, Wodonga. And Matthew McKenna, suited connectors, attractive 8-7, does like to raise because you can't limp. Makes it 3.4. J1 Rai, 3.4 to call. Says jam. In your face, Matthew. I'm all in. Does have 27 bigs. But he does go all in. It's on the cusp of being too much. Karen Lee, ace 10. She's well deep at 113 bigs. Ooh, Nikki Viesco is sitting there on 10-9 of diamonds connected and suited. So the dealer has given the count to Karen Lee, no relation to Bing or Brett or Pamela, and Lance Armstrong Patterson picks up pocket 10s. Well within reason to get in the mix here. Potentially squeeze slightly more chips, covering J1 Rai. Nothing to think about, Lance. Get him in. Get him in. He says no. Wow, what a fold there from the big fella. Storm jersey on. Super Coach Bellamy is going to be disappointed when he sees Matthew McKenna fold him. And J1 Rai basically steals the blinds and a small raise. And Lance says, give me back my bloody cards. I want to race with the 10s. Heads up, doesn't want to get tangled. More than that, doesn't want to get tangled in the three-way pot. But anyway, my name's Tucker. This has been an absolute pleasure for you to see me call the Jackstar for the APL. And hang around, like and subscribe, and you'll get notified whenever we go live on these beautiful live poker tournaments around Australia. And don't forget to fold raise.